Now, a few people, some of us actually can do this naturally, more naturally than the others. And for those of us who are not able to do this more naturally, what would be like the 3 or 4 points that you would sort of advise as ways in which you cultivate this on a daily basis? Like, are there 4 things or 3 things I could do where I could go and like improve my strength of
Yeah.
empathy on a daily basis? Like, because especially in a remote world, the soft cues are gone too. So
Yeah.
it's harder for someone who's already finding it hard to empathize.
Yeah.
But I want to empathize, but what could I be doing? What 3 steps or 4 steps I could be doing on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. So empathy actually does follow some rules. There are things you can learn. The part that you can't learn is the one I was talking about before, synchrony, like that kind of ability to intuit and attune and stuff like that. But there are skills, and the skills can get you to a really good approximation. So even if you have no theory of mind or perspective, or like, worst case scenario, you're some sort of sociopath, if you follow these skills, like you can get pretty darn close. So the first one would be reflective listening and practicing that. And I've actually like written an article called "If you have to like learn one skill to survive any conversation, learn that. Like learn how to repeat back what you heard in a number of different ways. And you can survive like a 40-minute conversation just by doing this when you get really good at it. And that's what like therapists do for the 50-minute hours. They literally just repeat back what they heard in a number of different ways. And when you get really good at it, it's varied and people don't notice that you're doing it. So the easiest way to start with that is by saying sounds like blank, like you feel blah, 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 or sounds like you're doing this. And even when you do it in a robotic way, it's like the skill is so powerful. So, like, let's imagine you're in an argument with a friend or a spouse or whatever. If you start reflecting and you start repeating back what you heard, even if they know you're doing it, it's like an undeniable power. Because when people feel and they hear like repeated back to them what they actually are feeling, and they're like, yeah, that's right, it like everyone like relaxes, de-escalates, like aligns for a second, even when they know they're participating in it. So that'd be the first skill. I could talk about this forever. I do like 3-day trainings, but second one, I'll do it like quick. But the other would be open-ended questions, so questions that can't be answered with like yes or no. And you want to try to like balance your ratio in a conversation so that you're doing a couple open-ended questions and then reflecting and then reflecting, and you don't. Good conversation, empathic conversation, isn't a bunch of closed-ended questions. And I think when we're little, we kind of like don't get taught that. We are taught like, oh, if you're curious about someone, ask them a lot of things. And actually that's kind of a stressful situation to be as the participant and the receiver. Like, oh, what am I going to ask next? What am I going to say? What am I going to do? Like, I gotta like be like, where are you from? What do you do? Like you just want to do like a couple of open things and just like repeat back what you hear. Right. So those are two skills you can start with. There's
and
like
for the rest,